I mean, obviously learning choreography is a challenge in itself, but on the day when you're shooting action, it takes a lot longer than people think. Like one sequence can take days to shoot. So you really have to kind of keep up your energy level from day one when you start, you know, in the morning to day 3 or day 2 where you're cutting this together and it all looks like it's continuous. So the challenge is constantly there to have your energy, have your memory intact, to make sure no one gets hurt. But if that all nicely dovetails and everything works out, then it's obviously very rewarding because you're giving your audiences what they want, what they deserve, and you're portraying something that you set out to portray. Michael's so easy to talk to, and we kind of talked about everything. And so off screen, we were just always talking, and because we were spending time together off screen, and on screen, he was totally focused. I mean, like, he always came to set in the morning with new ideas about his take on a scene or something that he wanted to change, or he'd been up that night working with the writer and he sort of felt this was a little better than this. And so it was always like in the morning, you know, something that we could regroup on and improve and make better. And so, you know, that is really why he is who he is, because it's a constant improvement and he's constantly optimizing what he's going to bring. And you know, I couldn't think of a better scenario of someone to work with. Martin is awesome. I had a really great experience working with him. I think his crews will probably tell you he's really tough to work for because he loves excellence and he wants the best product, and so do I. So we really see eye to eye on kind of everything because I think we both come from that place. For me, I had a really tough day with a stunt that like wasn't working and you know, that we weren't getting, and I ended up, you know, ended up having to scrap the day and start the next day with the same scene and do it over again. And I think the level of, for me, I mean, I wasn't upset at anybody, but the frustration level was just like off the charts because we weren't getting what we wanted because the timing was really important and it just wasn't happening. And you put all this work in, and you put all this time in and all this energy in, and it's not happening. If you don't get it on screen, it never happened, right? You gotta get it on film. And so I was really disheartened and I really was tearing up. I was so upset about what was happening. And so I went down to just take a break and take a little minute for myself. And I walked into my tent and my crew had made this. They could see that I was frustrated, and by rights, they were felt really bad for me. And so they had cut out this cardboard and they had written, you know, really encouraging, beautiful note to me on it and told me that they loved me and that they believed in me and that, you know, and that everything was gonna be okay. And I had such a close connection with my crew that in those moments you really realize why you're working with who you're working with and why you're around them, because we're all really there ultimately to support each other. And in that moment, I needed that so badly because I was breaking down, and then there it was, just this thing of hey, don't worry about it, we love you, we think you're awesome, we'll get it, don't worry, you know, sort of thing. And we did, the next day we did, but it's those little moments where people care about you, I think are always things that you'll never forget. Well, it wasn't initial. When they first pitched it, I was like, I don't want to do an action movie. It sort of sounds like something that's kind of typical. I hadn't read it yet, obviously, but just the pitch was a little oh, I don't know if that's what I'm doing next. And then I read it and I was like, wow, that was actually a really good script. And then I got on the phone with Martin, and when he really gave me his pitch about how he saw the film, it was really, to me, the only way you can make it. And I knew that his whole goal was to do something very different that we're not seeing in the action genre now. And that was exciting to me. And then Michael was attached, and then everything fell into place. But it really wasn't just because oh, hey, here's this movie, you should probably do it, they're looking for you. It was really, these are the right people, and I know they want to make what I want to make. And so let's try and do that together. Well, what I hope they take away is something that's a little more unexpected than what they walked into it feeling that they were going to get. We spent all our time, really most of our time, on these character arcs and how these characters relate to one another. And there's a lot of nuanced things that we put in there and that Martin did, and even in my interviews today, it has sort of felt like people are picking up on those things that we were really focused on that a lot of times audiences miss. So that is a testament to Martin as a director, and so I hope they go to see a Martin Campbell film and walk out going, oh wow, that wasn't just what I wanted, it was actually more than I wanted.
Well, I think the first time we, even met might have been getting ready to start the choreography and rehearsals for the stunt scenes. We may have met before that. I can't remember. So we kind of jumped right into it, to the really hard stuff. And she was already kind of ready to roll and fit, and I had to catch up, you know. But those scenes are, I mean, I got to say, some of the dinner scene where she and I are having dinner is really a fun scene. Some of the dialogue scenes are really fun to play with her. She's really good at it, and the action scenes are really fun but really challenging. She helped out a lot. She's quite good at this stuff. Well, this is a guy who's made some great movies. I mean, real movies. You know, Casino Royale, but also just really has a sense of, let's make a movie, like put it on a big screen. And he's so good at this. And I would say, and I've worked with really good directors, but in terms of his organization and his preparedness, he's about as good as anybody. He's so well organized and so well prepared, and so decisive about things that makes everything a lot easier. And he sets the bar high for himself and for others, really. You know, like the stunts in this movie are so kind of fun and inventive, and a lot of that is him, but maybe not creating it, but improving it or not settling for something. And you know, there's so many movies now that just have so many great gags in them. You know, so many such tremendous stunt work that I think a lot of stunt coordinators are constantly trying to outdo. You know, it gets competitive in a really fun way. So then when you're the person in it and has to do it, you go, okay, well, I hope I can pull this off, you know. And that requires an awful lot of work, It gets to be real serious business, because first of all, it can be dangerous. Someone can get hurt, so you have to get it right. But Martin's stuff is his preparedness is really impressive. Well, I read the script and I thought it was really good, and I thought the writing was good, and I don't mean, I was going to say for a movie like this. I mean, in this genre, often, to be honest, sometimes people care less about the dialogue or the writing, and I thought the writing was good, and I thought, I asked myself, have I really played this kind of guy before? And I thought, well, here's a chance to, you know, add that to the list of characters I've played. So, you know, I talked with Martin, and then for a while, I think the project was off. I think he went off and made another movie, and I think I went off and made another movie. Then it kind of came back around, and we started talking, and the timing was right. And Sam Jackson signed on, and I said, yeah, let's go make this. This will be fun. I just honestly hope they sit back and just have a great time. It's a big international, the backdrop is fun. It's a big international movie with some laughs, fun, but mostly tons of really cool action. Just sit back and enjoy yourself. Don't overthink it, just enjoy yourself. Have fun.
With Michael, Maggie, and Sam, first of all, they're really professional actors. That's number one, right? Secondly, they all loved the script. And thirdly, they were all worked very hard, you know, to make the film what it is. And when you have very talented professional actors, that goes an awful long way in the bonding process. And they all got on very well together. And even the minor actors, and so for the minor parts in the movie. So bonding really is down to a large extent between the actors themselves, right, how they approach the material, and if they're excited about doing the material, which they were on this. And I guess myself, and because I'm, I enjoy working with actors. So really that's a combination of those things. Working with her is, well, first of all, she's on screen just about 100% of the time. Not totally, but she literally carried the film on her shoulders, quite honestly. If you didn't have someone of Maggie's ability, I don't think the film would work nearly as well. And not only is she a fine actress, but also she can do action probably better than any other actress I know. And she worked with Jackie Chan. I've worked with Jackie Chan, but the thing is that she carried the film on her shoulders, basically. That was the point, both as an actress and with the action. Well, the challenges are throughout the movie. I mean, when you're doing independent movies like this, you've got a limited budget, and which means that you have a limited schedule. So the big thing was to be able to get everything we wanted in the time that we had, the time and money that we had, and that was a real challenge. The action was, is always a challenge to get that right and to get the time to be able to make that look good. But more importantly was the work with the actors and their relationships between Michael and her, between her and Sam Jackson, to get those right. So all of those were the, combined with the biggest challenges. I think the action is pretty much non-stop. It goes right from the beginning of the movie, but also those relationships between Maggie, Michael, and Sam Jackson are the heart of the movie, and hopefully they'll respond to that. Where we shot most of the film in Romania. We did a week in Bulgaria. We were supposed to go to Vietnam, but we couldn't because of COVID. So we did it there, and we created Vietnam. And oddly enough, the countryside around Sofia, which is the capital of Bulgaria, is not dissimilar to Vietnam, because we went to Vietnam for a week scouting, and then we couldn't go. We couldn't go back simply because of COVID. So we used Sofia, outside of Sofia, for most of the Vietnamese stuff, with a little help from digital and so forth.
Hi there, movie lovers. Did you know that back in the day, films weren't dubbed over in other languages? Instead, it was common for foreign language films to take over a movie set at night and shoot their own version of the film. For example, an old Spanish version of Dracula was filmed all at night in about half the time and even received better reviews. Make sure to click below to subscribe or on the side for more awesome content.